Welcome to Daddy vs. Doctor. Here are your hosts, pediatrician Dr. Scott Cohen and comedian Sebastian Maniscalco.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Daddy vs. Doctor show. My name's Sebastian Maniscalco alongside
Dr. Scott Cohen.
Scott Cohen today. An amazing show. We talked to singer-songwriter Caitlyn Smith.
Amazing.
We talk about something called Smegma.
Not with Caitlyn Smith. That was a separate
issue.
Altogether. Yep.
Smegma. We're going to find out what that is.
Yeah.
And we're talking fat kids today.
The obesity epidemic. And we have snacks. Join us for snacks.
Fat kids today. Daddy vs. Doctor. We're going to jump right into the bag. All right. Another segment of the bag. Mail just pouring in to the Daddy vs.
We sort of
Doctor.
color coordinated today. It looks nice.
Not
Nice.
not really, but
All right. The mailbag. Ty and Shauna R. from Las Vegas, Nevada. We have an 8-year-old daughter who is a bit of a chunk. We feed her well, but she really doesn't like exercise. We are both big boned and are trying to teach her this is normal, but curious your advice on how we can encourage body positivity while also trying to help her get active.
so there's a question that I am struggling with myself.
Okay.
Going through a phase right now with my kids in regards to the quantity of food that they are knocking down each meal.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to be very sparse.
Okay.
And like, for example, I had a half a bagel I made for Serafina with cream cheese and lox. Is that enough?
Yeah.
What's enough?
I know there's not an answer because at that age group, in the toddler age group, yeah, it feels like they live off, sunlight and air.
Yeah.
I joke after a year, kids' diets, even the best eaters often turn into dairy, carbs, and fruit because that's what they like. And vegetables go away for a really long time. And sometimes proteins that we think of as proteins like eggs and fish and meat, the textures are weird to kids, so they like their staples. And they don't eat a lot for two reasons. One, developmentally, they'd rather do anything but sit still, right? It's like 2 bites and run, and I see somebody else play and I want to play.
Yeah.
Also, physiologically, it just doesn't take as much to grow. That first year, we look at growth curves. The first year of growth is like this, and then it sort of plateaus. And from 2 to 6, it's almost a flat line. And that's the age group you always hear parents say, my child eats nothing. And when you come to me, I look at the growth curve and I'm like, oh, they're growing great. So in general, we don't want to make a big deal of it, but I think teaching healthy eating habits early on is really important. So you make 3 or 4 things. You hope they're eating part of one of it. As a parent, you're always offering something your child eats. My daughter probably had mac and cheese 4 nights a week because her and my wife loved it. But don't be afraid if it's not on the menu, then it's not. We just had this at your house the other day with Caruso. You made the 3 or 4 things. One of them was the green pasta. And initially, he was upset. He's like, I'm not eating any of it. He walked away, gave it time. He got hungry, came back and ate it. And kids usually will eat what they need to survive. No healthy child's going to starve themselves.
I know that they're not going to starve, but my worry is they don't eat the stuff that's quote unquote good.
Right.
And they're living off of snack.
Well, that's the problem.
All right. So I'm trying to minimize snack and give them food that is somewhat nourishing and healthy. Like I'll make steak for myself the next night. I'll have some leftover. I'll have steak and broccoli for them. I just want to stay away from these like kind of sugar-based
I agree.
snacks. And I read something online, and I don't know if this is true. It said that you have to introduce a food 15 times to a kid in order for them to, you give them broccoli. No, I don't like broccoli.
Right.
Give them broccoli again. No, I don't like broccoli. You have to do that 15 times in order for them to start to
Well, we
eat.
talk about this when we introduce solid foods like to 4 and 6 month olds and above. We say it probably takes 8 to 12 times before your child even knows what they like. So the food they hated last week, they may love this week and vice versa. So I think trying it over and over again, preparing things differently, variety, and to your point, and sort of what, from the mailbag, body positivity is so important and making them feel good about themselves. But knowing that if we skip lunch, then we can't go to the pantry an hour later and get the goldfish and the chips because That's not healthy. Then you're not doing a service to your child. You want them to eat something you want them to have before they get that snack. And we're not saying no snacks, but do it in the appropriate time.
Yeah.
Some people set up rules, like we would do one dessert a day. So that if our daughter asked for dessert after dinner, it wasn't a punishment saying no, because you don't want to create issues over food. You can and you can't. It was more like, oh, remember we had it at lunch. We had our one for the day. Why don't we choose something else? Let's do like some fruit or something like that. So if you create sort of rules and limits that aren't punishments, because we don't want to create issues over food. And then the final thing I would say is that, a lot of kids, weight and height fluctuate in the beginning. And then what happens is with puberty, the height escalates. You usually grow about 2 inches a year, and then puberty for a couple of years, you double up. And weight actually sort of levels off too, and then weight increases. But your height gain over that time is more than weight. So that's your chance. If you're eating healthy, you're exercising, you're sleeping well, that's when a lot of people lose some of their baby fat because their height gain has increased.
You mentioned body positivity over the last 3 episodes, and I'm wondering what that actually means.
Yeah.
Does it mean that if you look in the mirror and you're a tank,
right,
but you're positive about it, that's okay?
That's a good point.
I'm confused now, because over the last 5 years, people who are overweight seem to be glorified now, that this is some type of like, oh, if you're overweight, embrace it. And I'm looking at it going, no, if you're overweight, that's hypertension and a possibility for you to die at a young age. So
I agree. I think it's good that you feel good about yourself however you look, but at the same time, there are health risks with that. And then those should be talked about, and then you should try to decrease those health risks, right? So you can feel good about yourself, but still, yes, if there's risk, you should do something about it.
My theory is, if you're overweight, right, and there was no health risks, then fine.
Yeah.
Right. But when health risks are associated with obesity,
right,
and being quote unquote fat,
right. But with an 8-year-old, we wouldn't want to say, oh, you're fat. It's more about teaching healthy eating habits, because it's not as much about like diet and losing weight. It's more healthy eating habits, because we're teaching skills that hopefully will stay with them for life. And then as they grow, everything evens out. But doing the right things. If you're overweight at any age, hallmark the eating healthy and the exercise, so we're heading in the right direction. Not ignoring it. I agree. We don't just ignore it.
Well,
but we don't want to body shame either.
No, but I'm guaranteeing, well,
somebody else's.
In my opinion, this kid who's a chunk could be eating a high processed diet with a ton of sugar.
If there are things to fix, you should fix it.
And fast food. I mean, it's like, you don't get fat from just, eating seeds.
Avoid the fast food.
So I wish my kids would gain a little bit more weight, just to kind of fill out a little bit, not to be overly, like you see some of these kids walking around and they're like total meatballs. And how do you address this in the office?
Yeah,
if the kid is overweight. I mean,
but a lot of it is family changes. It's in the house, to be honest with you. Because if they're eating poorly, usually they're not the only ones in the house eating poorly. And it's not fair to say, oh, we're all going to eat this crap, but you're not allowed to. So sometimes you have to change a whole household.
So what you're saying, and again, you speak extremely diplomatically. You're very PC in the way you speak. Again, I come over and I'm going to hit you right in the mouth.
You hit me right in the mouth. Yes.
Are you saying you're just seeing a lot of, if it's like a fat family?
I'm saying habits often are in the entire household. Yes, in the family. So a lot of times, like she said, we're all sort of bigger boned.
But what's that bigger bone? I mean, come on.
No, but that's what they said. So,
bigger bone.
So sometimes curbing some lifestyle changes in one person means curbing a lot, because it makes it more helpful for the child. It's hard for them to mimic behaviors that they're not seeing.
There's a huge problem in this country with
that we don't call it out like you do.
with eating.
Yeah,
and
100%.
people are eating in abundance.
Yeah.
And it shows specifically at Disneyland. So if you want to get a kind of a microcosm of what's going on with the United States, go spend 2 hours at Disneyland, and you could see what's happening with.
No, it's hard. We used to see this in the hospital when I worked at Children's Hospital Los Angeles, and a child that was morbidly obese and would say, we don't know how that's happening. It must be something metabolic, something wrong with their thyroid. And they're literally saying that to you. And right next to them is a extra large McDonald's Coke.
Okay.
And it's right there.
We might get some flack on this conversation because I recently saw on, I believe it was 60 Minutes, that they said that it's like a disease.
It's a big issue.
It's like obesity is like a disease where the person cannot stop eating and they need medication to combat this urge. Again, I don't really, this is the problem with me. I go on strictly feelings, no data. Okay. It's just if I'm overweight, I gotta fix it by, I know I am overweight. The wine, the pasta, the pizza.
It's a disease. It's hard to make.
It's hard to do anything.
It's hard to do anything. It's
so
hard.
that's what I'm saying.
It's much easier to eat foods that taste good and are not good for you.
Okay.
And this is why over half of America is this way.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Is it
like right now? You look in there, you see why your head looks bigger than mine. You're gonna go home.
I'm
you're probably gonna fast for 3 days.
I'm busted out of the jacket, and you seem to be fitting beautifully into your nice sweater. What I'm saying is, I ain't blaming this on a disease. I gotta fix it. Stop eating. That's it, and go work out. That's it. That's the key. Sorry, if you're dealing with this at home, I'm sorry that you can't stop eating and you might have a problem. But I'm saying you don't. Want to save money on food this year? EveryPlate is America's best value meal kit and the ultimate hack to do just that. Meals are 25% cheaper than grocery store shopping, so you could count on great value week after week. Plus, only pay for what you need with pre-portioned ingredients. Put the money you save on grocery towards achieving and maintaining new, fun resolutions. EveryPlate recipes include only the highest quality ingredients, including sustainable sourced seafood, so you know your meals will be fresh and flavorful. EveryPlate provides plenty of delicious variety, so your taste buds never get bored. With 25 tasty and affordable recipes to choose from each week, it's easy to find something for everyone. Plus, finding delicious options all day long with up to 22 sides, snacks, desserts, and more. You know, at first I was skeptical, thinking meal kits might be expensive. But now I'm convinced you could get the same deliciousness at a much lower price. I love being able to enjoy a healthy, delicious meal no matter how busy I am. And EveryPlate provides great options, especially when I'm short on time. Get $1.49 per meal by going to everyplate.com/podcast and entering the code DVD149. That's everyplate.com/podcast and enter the code DVD149. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, we're good. Welcome to Daddy versus Doctor. This is Dr. Cohen. My name is Sebastian Maniscalco, and thanks for being on the show.
Who do you have with you?
This is baby Jack.
Cute. How old is he?
Just a few days shy of 10 months old.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And you guys are both in the octagon together, huh?
We are. Well, technically, it's the dogs, but when we have a Zoom call, we all come in. So,
So what's your question for Dr. Cohen today? What's going on over there?
so first of all, thank you for taking our call. And my question is, so baby is uncircumcised, and we've just gotten a lot of different advice from different doctors about how to clean his penis. Some say don't retract anything. He'll figure that out when he's 12. And others say, you can retract it now every day, clean it there. And so we kind of took the middle road and we clean it. We gently peel back the foreskin, and we've been cleaning it a few times a week. So that was all fine. And then one day we noticed there was like some white substance on the head of his penis. It didn't seem to be bothering him. Some of it came up very easily just with like a washcloth. But then when I retracted some more of the skin, there was some more white stuff and it was harder to get off. And I assume the skin there is very delicate. I don't want to be like scraping and scrubbing super hard. So I wasn't quite sure what to do with that. And on the internet, it basically says that doesn't happen to babies. So it did happen to him, though. So I'm just wondering what your advice is for carrying and cleaning an uncircumcised baby penis.
Yeah, the internet is always wrong when it comes to pediatrics and kids. It always gives you the most anxiety-producing answer, right? Like something's wrong with your child. And it's what you're describing actually is very, very normal. Do you know what's going on?
Based on her description, I don't know what the white stuff is. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
The penis naturally secretes discharge called smegma, and it's that white discharge because the penis is a gland. And what happens is in an uncircumcised penis, I would try to do like visuals with my hands. So the foreskin is over on top and the smegma is in between the foreskin and the head of the penis. So basically when you retract, I mean, this is crazy. When you retracted the foreskin, and you're right. What we say is just during baths, gently pull back to where it comes naturally, knowing that in a 10-month-old, it may not come back at all. And it is totally normal if foreskin doesn't retract for years and years and years and years. But if it does come back, you go to gently retract it till where it stops and you clean the area because the white stuff or smegma can build up and it acts like glue so that the foreskin down the road can't fully pull back. So that's what happened. When you pulled it back, you release some of the discharge. You gently clean. It's totally normal. Always make sure whatever you retract, you put back up over the head so it doesn't get stuck down because that can act like a tourniquet effect. And then you clean as needed. But totally normal. You did the right thing. Gentle retraction, cleaning, and it shouldn't cause any issue. But that's why we retract, because you don't want it to build up, because eventually if it builds up so much, when you need it to retract, it won't pull back, and then that can cause issues down the road.
Oh man,
that's so much penis stuff.
That's a lot going on. Now, with circumcision and not I listen. My father, isn't circumcised, right? And I think
Does he want everybody to know that?
He was European. He still is, but I mean, I think
he laughed.
Yeah, he knows. And a lot of Europeans, that just wasn't what they did. Now, what is it? What's the choice to have no circumcision? Is that just I don't know why one gets it, one doesn't. Yeah. What's the reasoning?
We researched the pros and cons, and we didn't see any convincing reason to do it. Mm-hmm. So we figured just let it be.
I think the biggest thing is it should be a personal preference. Obviously, the studies of circumcision versus non-circumcision are a little bit 6 of one, half dozen of the other, and we've gone through some phases. Way back when we were recommending circumcisions for everybody medically, then we said it's really up to the parents. It's always been up to the parents. Now they're swaying toward, there's some positives. But what it is circumcision decreases your risk of urinary tract infections. But urinary tract infections are less common in boys and easily treatable. So it's positive, but a little bit of wash. Circumcision decreases your risk of penile cancer, but penile cancer is extremely rare. It decreases your risk of some sexually transmitted diseases like HIV, but not others. And your chance of needing a revision, meaning a circumcision needing to be fixed, or a uncircumcised penis needing to get the circumcision, are about the same. So I think, again, it really should be a personal preference. A lot of it comes down to like, what is dad, right? Son look like dad. Cultural changes definitely fit into circumcised or not. And what I tell parents is, whatever you choose, we're going to tell you how to take care of it. And this is how you're taking care of it.
Beautiful. The kid looks like he's healthy. He's active. And maybe we should get one of those giraffes as a toy review.
Yeah, the giraffe. Can you imagine being in the pitch meeting for that? And they're like, we're just going to do the giraffe. And that became like the worldwide.
That's the worldwide
seller.
toy for kids.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thanks for calling in. We do appreciate you sharing your story with us here on Daddy versus Doctor. And we wish you both the best. What a doll.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Bye, guys.
You got it.
We hear that a lot, Googling medical things.
Googling.
And this is what always happens. It always makes you feel bad and that there's something seriously wrong with your child, which is frustrating.
I want to hit what everybody in the room is thinking.
Yeah. Smegma.
Aesthetically. Aesthetically.
Yeah.
This kid's going to grow up, right? He's going to go to his parents going, what the hell is this? Right?
Yeah.
It just don't look. It looks bad enough, right? But with that shit hanging over and the thing, you're gonna look for it and whatever, you're gonna pull it back.
Do you think when people are finally there, anybody's judging based on that?
Listen,
Are people getting turned away because of it? I mean, I don't know. I'm posing the
no,
question.
but listen. In the preliminary stages of sex, right? And the girl goes down, and that's what she sees. No.
I don't know. I'm circumcised.
I'm just saying, if you took a poll out of 10 girls, and they would have their preference, I would think all 10 would say, I'd like a circumcised penis.
It's good that your reviews are not biased in any way, shape, or form.
If I was uncircumcised, I would be going, what the fuck were they thinking?
You're saying if you were dating somebody with a penis, then you would prefer an uncircumcised.
It would be a
penis.
deal breaker for me.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That's all I'm saying. And I apologize to anybody in the room who's got the foreskin hanging off their shalom. But so Smegma,
Yeah. You've had
white stuff discharge coming out of the male penis. When does that stop?
Why do you have white stuff coming out of your penis?
What's that?
No, we're talking about something totally different.
Well,
no, because what we're talking about is discharge. It's really in between the layers. If discharge is coming out of like the urethra, the hole of the penis, that's something totally different that you should look into.
Well, smegma is coming out.
It's in between the layers of the skin. It's not coming out of the hole. Not coming out.
Oh, I thought it was dripping out of the hole.
If white stuff's coming out of the hole, you got to be tested for some things.
Oh,
and your wife's gonna be very upset with you because she didn't give it to you.
You know, and I'm sorry to get personal, but that's why people are paying for this. When I was a kid, I had I think I had smegma. Yeah, but I was older. I was like older. Like I was like 10, 11. I had some white shit around the ring.
I think that this is what I want out of our website when people go to our website, that when they finally, instead of Googling things, come to our website, we'll populate it with good information other than what we're talking about, but like good medical information so they feel comfortable knowing that they're getting good information.
Wait a minute. I'm talking.
I know you're talking about your penis and I diverted to like
I was getting into my own
website.
And you went, we have great information. Daddy versus Doctor.
I'm not gonna be able to get that out of my head.
Well, you know what? This is what I bring. I don't have an education or I have an abundance of knowledge.
You thought that whole talk. You thought the 10-month-old was spewing white stuff out of the penis hole.
Okay.
The urethra hole.
Did anybody else think
what you thought?
Did anybody else think that? No.
Nobody else.
Nobody in the room thought smegma was coming out of the hole.
You know how the uncircumcised penis, you know how the foreskin pulls back? Right? Like a banana peel?
Yeah.
Right. So between the banana peel and the banana, there's the white stuff.
Okay. I thought it was coming out of the
penis. You did.
And it was hitting.
You did.
But
it's good because you're hitting a segment of the population that just didn't understand. And that
believe me, the people that are watching out there, maybe the people in the room are not a good cross-section of who we're hitting at home.
Right.
But I'm guaranteeing you people out there thought it was a discharge.
Please add in comments if you thought discharge was coming out of the hole or you're the urethra of the penis or Sebastian was the only one.
Who would think it was coming out of the actual skin? It's coming out of the skin.
In between, yeah.
Okay. I go if there's a leak, it's coming out of a hole, not the wall.
Okay, I get it.
Growing up, cereal was the best part of being a kid. But as I got older, I started to watch for sugar and empty carbs. Magic Spoon has amazing flavors you love, but high protein and less sugar. The variety pack has 4 flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. The pack has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and 4 to 5 net grams of carb. That's only 140 calories per serving. It's high in protein, has 0 grams of sugar. It's keto-friendly. It's gluten-free. It's grain-free and soy-free. My favorite flavor is peanut butter. Go to magicspoon.com/DVD to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use the promo code DVD at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in the product, it's backed by a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of high-protein cereal at magicspoon.com/DVD and use the code DVD to save $5 off. I'd like to thank Magic Spoon for sponsoring this episode. So, this podcast has been out now, 3 months, and sometimes, I talk to people and what have you. We were recently at a hotel. There was a bidet there. I don't use them. I just think there's it's more of a problem than anything else. Do you use these?
No, I have this feeling like, how is that the bowl and the spout, the water coming out clean? Like somebody else has used it.
Yeah, that's the
right?
biggest
That's
concern.
in my head.
Like I can't take out of my head that someone before me was doing, and then I gotta get.
But I have friends who can't go anywhere if there isn't one. Like that's their thing. I like the wipes though. That's a different topic.
Well, I think the wipes, although the wipes apparently are not good for your plumbing.
It hasn't happened yet. I'm using them until my plumbing gets clogged.
We had a plumbing issue with the wipes, and they do get caught. They say it's flushable.
Was it the downstairs bathroom? I was in that one.
Might have been.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
But we had a big plumbing issue with the wipes. When do you stop wiping your kids behind?
That's a good question. I mean, usually through preschool, even like the teachers are taking them and helping them. Because even if they're doing it, they're not doing it well.
I know.
That's the issue. I mean, there's always something in there. I mean, when I'm examining kids and that, even, definitely. Because when are people leaving diapers, right? And potty training, diapers are, girls are usually a little faster, like 2.5. Boys are somewhere between 2.5 in college. And the diapers go, and then they're trying to wipe themselves 3, 4, 5, and it's still, there's a lot of mess. So helping them out. Yeah,
because I mean, Crusoe's still in diapers. Obviously, Serafina is 5.5, going on 6 in April. And
she can do it though, right?
She can, but again, like it's not thorough.
Right.
It's not like
not to your inspection.
Yeah. And my question is, if it's not thoroughly clean, is there a problem with infection down the road as far as
more like rashes? Like they get the red bumpy rash, like diaper rashes. That's why babies get diaper rashes. The contact of the pee or the poop on the skin leads to the red skin.
Okay.
So that's usually what it is. They get rashy, they get itchy, kids constantly itching their butt. So and then that can add to other skin infections if they're breaking skin and things like that.
Now I grew up with baby powder.
Okay. Right? Yeah.
Baby powder, it was often applied from my mother and father after they wiped my ass. They did powder. Like the LeBron James. Like that. Yeah. Is there a problem with using baby powder on your asshole?
So we got rid of talcum powder because what they found is talcum powder gets in the air and they're very fine particles and it gets in your lungs and can be dangerous. So you can't buy talcum powder anymore.
Okay.
But other types are fine, the heavier ones. I personally like creams better because I think the whole idea and what prevents a lot of these rashes is the barrier. You're creating a barrier. So usually nowadays we're usually mainly creams.
Creams?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I use baby powder for myself well into my, I want to say late teens.
Yeah. Well, you were an athlete, so you were.
Well, not even for that. I used to do it as part of my night prep before I went out, right? So I would get out of the shower and I would do a full-blown baby powder down there.
How do you, Do you just squeeze and the puff goes there? What do you do? You smack
just
it
a
on.
shake right on it.
That's what you do?
And then
what about the other side? The other side, you puff it? Because I know this is all new to me.
Not really. I wouldn't do the other side. I would just like freshen that area up just in case.
Were you a sweaty guy?
No, just in case, it was fresh down there. We have singer-songwriter Caitlyn Smith with us today. Absolutely came across your performance on Jimmy Fallon, Contact High, I believe you sang. Love the song.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
And just kind of fascinated with, and before we get into the parenting thing, I just want to talk a little bit about your career. Would you rather perform a song, or do you get more satisfaction out of someone singing the words you wrote?
Man, I mean, both experiences are wild and amazing, but if I just had to pick one, I mean, being able to sing the words that I wrote and look at somebody in the eye and know that it's connecting with them and touching them, like that's an experience that's like beyond. So yeah. I would pick that.
Did you come up with that question on your own?
I do.
That was a really good question.
I do my research.
That was a great question.
Was. I was like, wow, where did that come from? You got a writer? We don't make enough money.
Listen, I'm more than a comedian. I'm like the male Barbara Walters, to be honest with you. Also, we understand that your husband is in the band, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Wow.
How does that work? Because I know if my wife was in a band and I was singing and she was behind me, are there moments where you go, pick it up, or is there any type of conflict within a marriage when you're working together in a band?
Yes. We pay a lot of money to a really great therapist that helps keep the band together, keep the family together. No, I mean, in all honesty, because we do so much together, we parent together, on the road together. I mean, it is a lot of togetherness. And so it's just been years of trial and error of like, oh, why are you so crabby? Oh, because you need space. And like learning to communicate, learning to over communicate things. I mean, we're still learning how to do it, but yeah, there's tension. But he gets to stare at my good side.
Oh yeah, well, hey, I like that confidence. So you're in this band, you have a family. Is music important to the kids? Are you hopeful that they maybe pick up an instrument, maybe sing with you? Is there music always playing in the house? How I didn't really grow up with a musical family, so I'm ignorant to the fact of like how musicians kind of maybe open their kids' eyes to music.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I grew up. My mom worked at a school, and my dad was a police officer, so really far from music, but they love music. So I grew up with it always on. And then at our house, our kids are constantly like, we'll be rehearsing, we'll be cutting demos like in our office, and they'll be listening, or writing songs. And so they're constantly listening to me and my husband creating, and they love it. They love music. We kind of leave our music room and instruments open for them. They know they've got to be gentle, but like whenever they want to try something, like, cool, go for it. And so, they love and are drawn to like all the Disney music, which is always like, hey, Alexa, play all of the Disney music.
Yes.
And so how I really wish we could be listening to like Beatles and Paul Simon all the time. We're not. We're listening to, the Bruno song like 4,000 times and Baby Shark. But they love music, and we just want to cultivate that, but not push it. But I think they're probably doomed for at least some taste of music in their future, whether they're in a band together or not. I don't know.
But that's great that they love it, because like in our house, we're both doctors, and my girls like want nothing to do with medicine, science. They're like, oh no, get away from that. And you realize this question came from Sebastian because you know what his dream is, right? His dream is to walk up to a piano, sit down, play some Beethoven concerto, and people just crowd around and give him accolades. This is his dream. So you're living his dream.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I just believe that music, if you're playing an instrument, and I wish I kept with piano. I only took piano for 1.5 years, and my mother was, stay with it. You're gonna regret it when you grow older and you don't know how to play. And now as a parent, seeing my kids play the piano, I have the same, stick with it. It's gonna
Totally.
So did you have did you just fall in love with music right from the get-go, or was your parents telling you stick with it, or is this something that came very natural to you?
I mean, it was something that I loved instantly. And so my mom would sit down and play show tunes and country songs on the piano, and we would sing together for fun, or my dad would pick up his guitar and he would play, and we'd jam on Eagles songs. And so my parents loved it, and so I loved it. And I know piano lessons can be such a drag because you're learning music that you don't care about. But I think I was blessed with having good piano teachers that saw that and then was able to be like, okay, learn this song, but then also make up a song this week and give me some freedom to want to keep going. And so I definitely, wanted to keep going. But piano lessons can totally suck if you've got a teacher that's not nice. It makes you hate it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Was there a time where you were just wanted to quit, but your parents realized you were so talented and wanted to continue? Because I know my girls play the violin and viola and they are very talented in it, but they'd rather be out with their friends and doing other things. Right. And I was told as a parent, I'm allowed to force them to do one thing, supposedly without harming them psychologically.
Oh, yeah.
So we've really pushed them to continue because it is something that we know they're very good at. And when they eventually do it, they do enjoy it, but they give us a lot of slack. Was there ever that point for you? Or it was just good all the time?
I mean, I think my parents weren't so pushy. It wasn't good all the time. My parents weren't so pushy. I think they just let natural consequences happen. So if I didn't practice, I have a very vivid memory of I had a gig as a 9-year-old and I was supposed to learn this Christmas song and I didn't practice. And my parents they kind of reminded me but weren't intense about it. But it got to the day where I was supposed to sing my song and I didn't know it at all. And it was basically, I flopped.
This is really good.
As a 9-year-old. And it was I remember that feeling of ooh, wow, okay. And the silent card ride home. And so that natural consequence at a young age was okay, and my dad just kindly was if you want to do it, then do it. But if you don't, he was kind of I don't want to see that again.
I mean, I think that's fabulous.
Not in a kind way of that sucks worse for you, but it was really hard to watch.
Right. But it's a good life lesson.
If you don't practice and you show up to your recital, you're not going to do a great job. I don't know. So,
but I think it's really hard for parents to do that because I know sometimes we do things because we don't want to look bad. So making your child do it to look good makes you look good as a parent. Yeah. Whereas learning that tough lesson, what your dad did was probably actually very hard on him because he looks bad. Why isn't my kid prepared? And a lifelong lesson, which I find that's very impressive.
Yeah, it's a different approach. You know, you embarrassed the hell out of me. So
no, I mean I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
No, I mean that's what basically she went through. It's the father was I don't want to watch that again. Either straighten up or
it's intense. It is intense.
So you have 2 sons and you tour. Do you take your kids with you? How do you manage like a full tour? I know when I go on tour, I prefer not to have my kids along just because, I mean, shipping kids that young to
shipping?
Well,
Shipping.
Yeah.
Because they're
It
just
is
things.
logistically,
Your kids riding crates or
Yes, they do. Under the plane. We give him some animal crackers. It's fine. It's good.
maybe shipping wasn't the best word.
I'm
to
just
use.
messing. I know.
Logistically,
But no, I get it. I mean, when you're on the road and they're there, it's chaos.
yeah.
It's hard to focus on your job. But I thrive in chaos. I don't know. No, I mean, I think because we're on the road so much, and it's both of us that go out at one time. We take them when it makes sense. So it's not, sometimes it's a whole tour. If the routing is easy, they can just hop in the Sprinter van, hop on the bus, whatever it is. Like, we'll bring them if it makes sense. But if it's like super expensive, like flights, or it just is like grueling travel, we try to avoid it. This year on our headline tour, we did the West Coast, and I was like, let's make some adventure of it because the drives are long. You know, you're doing like, one day we did a 9-hour drive to get to the gig, and so I rented an RV, and we piled the kids in the RV, and we just made this adventure of it. And to be honest, like, that's my best case scenario, because here we are, we're out on the road, we're playing our music, and we're getting to create memories with our kids. And so, man, if we can keep doing that, cool.
Yeah.
But I do also like a nice weekend on the road where mommy can drink a little extra and not have to worry.
Who drove the RV?
My husband drove a lot of it, and then our tour manager.
I'm impressed. Could you drive an RV?
I don't think so.
Awesome.
No, I have a hard time driving an SUV.
Amazing.
So as a mother and as a parent, what do you see as like your biggest challenges raising kids?
Yeah.
What are you coming across that you're like, oh man, if I just whatever? I mean, what's the you have like
right now, so my boys are 6 and 4, and I'm having an intense difficulty with the listening, and it's so bad, you guys. No joke. I started taking vocal therapy because I started losing my voice a lot, and my vocal therapist was like, "Yeah, you're a singer, but that's not what's going on. That's not why you're losing your voice." She's like, "You have 2 boys? Yeah, you're a yeller, aren't you?" I was like, "Oh, maybe." And so I'm actually literally having to like learn how to talk and communicate with my voice because I keep losing my voice. But it would really help if they would listen. That's so hard.
So hard.
Does anybody have any good advice for me?
No, he agrees. Yelling.
Well,
Oh my God. I don't want to yell. I literally can't.
Well, I think
bad.
you got to pick and choose the times that you raise your voice. My wife is very kind of even-keeled, well-mannered, doesn't really get that upset. Every once in a while, she'll have a hint of insanity, but for the most part, I tend to be the disciplinarian. I tend to maybe raise my voice every now and then. But with 2 boys, and again, we've talked about boys and girls on this show before, and I've noticed with my son, it's like, my daughter's a little bit more obedient, a little bit more focused, and my son, it's like corralling a monkey. This guy's all over the room.
Totally.
So,
like, you can get in their eyeballs and be like, "Hi," and they're still gone. They are still in outer space.
But that's not just a 4 and a 6-year-old. That's pretty much any age. So
I guess.
well, here we go with education. Let's say Montessori school, right? I went to go see a Montessori school in session. It was like robots. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Kid took their shoes off, put it in the cubby, played. Everybody was quiet. I go, this is beautiful, right? I told my wife, why don't we
that's
send
why
them
you
here?
set up your house like a Montessori school with the stations.
Have you visited a Montessori school? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I haven't, no, but I think I need to. That sounds amazing.
They train the kids like carnival animals. I mean, it's just like to get an elephant up on a stool. That's, it's amazing to watch. That's all I'm saying. It's really, if go look videos on Montessori kids, it's a different Do you see that in The Office? That you see a kid come in, sit down on the thing, and go, "This must be Montessori."
Yeah, I think there's just some kids and some families that are very regimented, and the kids are just that way from the beginning. Here's the good news, but because I think we all have as parents the exact same stories, and our parents would say the same thing as me as a child and you as a child, and somehow we all end up as good members of society, or questionable good members of the society. Yeah. I remember when I was in elementary school, or and my parents at the parent-teacher conference, and they used to give O's, S's, and N's, not A's, B's, C's. O's outstanding, S's satisfactory, and N was you're just horrible. Yeah. So I get all O's, and I would get an N in listening. And then my parents met with the teacher, and they said, "Well, he's always talking, he's walking around, he's disrupting the whole class, he's in." And my dad was like, "What's the problem?" Because in his head, he's the exact same way. He's ADD, he's all over the place. And my mom was like, "We'll fix it immediately." And they came home and told me. And the next day I went to school, and I said to the teacher, "Why did I get an N in listening?" And she goes, "Because you're always talking." And I said, "Well, just because I'm talking doesn't mean I can't hear you." And I got in the most trouble I ever got in my life from the teacher and the parents. And that was the end of that.
And look at now, doctor.
Right. And then somehow, you end up as a doctor.
So
amazing.
Are you, as a comedian, I'm getting my material from life. I'm not really sitting down in a room coming up with jokes. I'm just extracting it from life. As a musician, are you the type that just has a breakup, or your kids are being born? Do you write about life experiences, or what's the process?
Absolutely. I mean, as a songwriter, like, my antennas are always up, and so I'll draw, like, my best songs are like things that I've really felt and I can get really honest about. But ideas can come from anything, and so eavesdropping in a restaurant to just hearing a friend tell their story, to books and movies, anything can be just song material, right? And so it's always constantly like searching for that next title. I've got like a list in my phone of like titles or ideas, lyrics. I just kind of like keep running, but I can't turn it off.
Do you know
You're probably the same way, like always like what?
Oh next? Yeah, I'm looking around right now picking up material.
Yeah, because we asked this of like a comedian and her jokes. Like, do you know when you write something or sing something for the first time that it's gold? Like, that's going to be the one?
I feel like it's happened sometimes in life, but I write so many songs.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, but every once in a while it'll be that magical day where I'm like, wow, I know that I was really honest and I showed up today and like this feels special. I feel like some people are like, whoa, I think I wrote a hit, but I don't know. You can never really guess. I don't know what's really going to hit other people. I just know if it means a lot to me, it's a thumbs up.
Well, the songs that mean a lot to you, do you have a song in your catalog when you sing it, it's emotional, where it brings you to tears?
Yeah.
Do you have a song like that? Have you cried singing before?
Absolutely.
He's trying to get somebody to cry on the show.
No,
he's just trying to.
This why?
Yeah, you are Barbara Walters. Okay.
He said, "Today I'm going to make somebody cry."
No.
Oprah on the next
so
Oprah.
The reason I asked,
on the next Oprah,
because from a performer standpoint, when I tell a joke, you got to tell it like you're telling it for the first time each night, right? So when you sing a song, you got to make it sound like the first time you're singing it. My question is, if there's a song that makes you cry, do you cry every time you sing it? And if you don't, Are you wondering why you're not crying singing the song you normally cry at? I mean, you don't get these questions.
Have you ever had these questions? You're going to write a diorama for that question.
Wow, I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Okay, so, to respond to the thing where you just try and say it fresh every time, right? Like it's the first time you're saying that joke. Like that's when I feel like I'm doing my job, is when I'm performing these songs and I'm locked into the lyric and I'm really delivering. Like, here it is, people. There are some songs that make me cry, but it's like they don't always make me cry. I don't sit here going, well, that made me cry last week. Like, why am I not crying? It's like I'm not always in it. I think it just the crying will randomly hit me. And sometimes it's because I'm locked into the lyric and the story and the truth of it. And I'm delivering that. And that's like, wow, that really happened. That's crazy. And you're locked into that emotion. And sometimes it's something different where it's like, I look in the audience and you see the connection it's making with someone else. And that will trigger the crying. But no, I'm not sitting there assessing like, why am I not crying?
Okay.
Wow, I didn't really.
Fair enough.
Know what works there.
Fair enough. Honest answer. I would be pining over why the hell I wasn't crying.
Why did I not cry today? I really should have turned on.
He's an emotional person.
Waterwork.
That's right.
Now, speaking of people in the audience, do you ever look at someone in the audience and they're like not interested, and you go,
yes?
Or do you hone in on that, or do you move away from that?
It depends what kind of mood I'm in. If I'm extra sassy that day, like I was opening last month for George Strait, which is like, it's a pretty tough crowd, right? Because they're coming to see the king of country music, and I'm just the opener. I'm in the way, but you're trying to win him over. And I saw one guy, and he leaned to his wife, and he just kind of went. He shrugged his shoulders, and I saw him go like this. And it could not have been about me. It could have been about something else. But I took it as, oh, yeah? You think this is... And I like zoomed in on that guy. And I was like, extra shimmies for this guy. Extra wings for this guy. Like,
That's great.
Check this one out. Making sure those vocal moments are happening right in front of that dude. So sometimes it'll be a game. But most of the time, I'm like, whatever, dude. On to the next person.
Plus, you have your husband behind you. You can be like, take out row 3B, that guy.
Yeah, I'm like, that guy. It's all good, though. Not everybody's going to love you, and that's just fine.
I know. It's just hard to get over that sometimes. You want everybody to just love you. I know. I do. Just want to mention that you do have a new album coming out entitled High and Low, and it's coming out April 14th. We're all dying to hear the new album. Are you standing up taking this call, or are you sitting down?
I am not. I'm very comfortably sitting I'm in the studio right now.
Oh, look at that. Wow. You wouldn't have guessed it.
So right after this, do you just go and like get in the booth and go, let's do it, or like,
let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, actually, I'll just do that, and then I'm gonna go pick up a pizza and go home to my boys and my husband. So, good night.
And I heard you were gonna sing us out. Is that?
Am I?
We won't put you on the spot. We do appreciate you taking a slice of your life out to talk with us today, and we wish you the best in this coming new year. And we hope those boys start listening to you, because
oh my gosh,
I know
thanks.
It's tough.
Because my voice, man.
Yeah, tell them what you should do is just mouth things and don't say it. They'll be so confused.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And they'll be because boys were just so distractible that if nothing was coming out of your mouth but you were doing it, try it tonight. And I bet you they're so confused they will stop whatever they're doing, shoot me a line, and let me know if that works. Yeah, because if my wife did that to me, I would be so nervous. I would probably just go in the other room and not say a word. So try it. Yeah, exactly.
Really good.
Exactly.
Well, thank you once again.
Congratulations on everything.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Great talking to you guys. Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye.
So we have a new segment here. I mean, it's just an overflowing of excitement here. It's a food item. It's a snack. And don't know what it is. Again, it's always a surprise. It's in the table right here. I'm gonna go and get it.
I like not knowing.
There we go.
Ooh,
Gerber.
Yeah, I know these.
Snacks for baby, grain and grow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you had these before?
Not these in particular. I've had something. I think it was like a puff.
No, those are puffs.
Yeah, but like it was called
Puffs.
Right. The company was Puffs. Yeah. It wasn't Gerber. By the way, is this still the same baby from 50 years ago?
I actually thought I saw a news story. We double checked it that they had like another casting.
Oh, they did?
For the Gerber, but maybe not. I don't know.
Okay.
Here's my issue with snacks in general. I don't know if you're this way. If snacks get put in front of me, you've commented this with me at your house. I just will eat them all. And when we had these, when the kids, you keep them in your car because they're always hungry. But then when I was hungry, it was like hand over fist, like flavored air.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
You ate all the baby's food.
I ate all the baby's food.
Now, on sight unseen, right?
Oh, wait, smell that. That smells like strawberries.
Oh, it does. Okay.
That's like
this.
That's strong strawberry smell.
To me,
yeah,
this smells like cancer in a bottle. I don't know much on the nutrition on these. I don't know. All right. Like I haven't read the label.
I get 2.
Well, I think 2 is a good.
You're not gonna get any.
Well, basically, what happens? You put this in your mouth, you chew it once, and it disintegrates. Gone, vanishes.
Doesn't really taste like much.
No, it has a hint of strawberry taste. Now,
like Kicks.
Yeah, sugar. 1 gram of sugar. Nothing really to this. Yeah. Just would you recommend? Well, here, the amount of stuff that's in this, though. Yeah. This is where we go. If you start reading the ingredients, we got rice flour, whole wheat flour, wheat, snack, cake, sugar, whole grain, GAT flour. Like now, there's just 5 different flours in this. Right.
But no. I think what these are good for, right? On the go, something to satisfy, and you do with them like we're doing with them. There's something to do. And I'm not complaining. I'm not yelling at my parents, crying. I'm in the back seat quiet. So when I was a kid, we used to drive from Illinois to Massachusetts. I was living in Illinois at the time. All my baby pictures, I'm wearing like flannels on a tractor. It's interesting. Anyways, they said what kept me quiet in the back seat is if my tray had Cheerios on it. As long as they refilled Cheerios, I never said a word. Ate Cheerios for 12 hours. I feel like this is like the Cheerio.
Here's my problem when it comes to, and I don't know if everybody in the medical field is this way, but I'm
hungry.
Sorry. You're coming from the perspective of put this in front of the kid and let him eat. Now, do you even look at what this stuff, what's in here and what's going into your kid's stomach?
Yeah, you didn't name anything horrible. And sugar was a lower ingredient, so it doesn't have a high sugar.
Yeah, but I don't understand why all this stuff is needed to make one little puff. You know what I'm saying? Why is there 19 ingredients in
to
here?
make a manufacturer puff?
I mean, to me, it's
I guarantee
it's death in a jar.
I guarantee if we cut to an hour from now, that thing's empty.
Listen, I'm not saying I'm not going to down it or my kid's not going to down it. I'm just saying some of these, I don't know exactly.
It's a good food early on, especially when they start finger foods around like 8 months of age. They dissolve in your mouth. You got to make sure still that the kids, it's age appropriate, but the little puffs.
Okay, it's
very common.
It's 8+ months. This is when they start.
Look at that! I didn't even read the label.
8+
I just came up with that on my head. It's like I went to medical school or something.
The education is prevalent on that side of the table.
Think Gerber, great brand, not death in a jar.
What's the grade here? Do we have lollipops?
We're doing lollipop grades.
Okay.
What's our high? 5 lollipops?
5 lollipops.
I'll give it like a 3.5 lollipops because it's useful, but it's not like a lobster dinner.
I agree. 3.5 stars.
Stars,
Not-
lollipops.
Sorry.
Get the
three
grading.
3.5 lollipops. Not something to be feeding your kid as a supplement to a meal, but a good distraction on the way to the grocery store when the kid's in the back and he's not listening and screaming. You put something like this in front of a kid and they're in a full-blown cry, they'll all of a sudden immediately done.
Immediately.
But they grow out of this.
Look, you got me to shut up.
Yep.
So,
there you have it.
all right.
Thank you for snacky snacks. I'm telling you, man, every show for me gets better. I'm just having a blast, especially talking to Caitlyn today. If you're not a fan of hers after today's show and what we saw, I don't know how you cannot be. What's a sweet woman.
My favorite part of the show was delineating white discharge from your penis that comes from the side and the hole, because that was a big education for you.
It was a big education for me. But again, I'm comment below if you think smegma would come out of the hole of the penis or the sides. Please let us know, because that's a big debate. Not going to be able to get to sleep tonight without hearing from you and your comments on smegma. And I got to tell you, I'm kind of craving a puff.
Snacks.
Hey,
There. Yeah, I feel like I want more.
That's it.
You
Get
want
yourself
more.
some Gerber.
Put in your comment sections your favorite snack for your child.
Thank you. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next week when we talk about more discharge from the penis.
Probably not. Thanks.
The opinions expressed in this program are not intended as professional medical advice, as a diagnosis, as a treatment protocol, or as a substitute for professional medical advice from your physician. Please consider your own medical history and consult with your own physician for your specific healthcare and/or medical needs, and about your concerns for yourself and your family.